Hello and welcome to the weekly producer challenge number 3. My name's Tom Cosm, doing a pre-recorded show this week because ISP crap and it's just a pain in the ass. We're doing weekly producer challenges. Every week we're learning new ways to use your DAW, pushing your mind, stretching the limits, outside the square, all that carry on. The whole idea is to have a bit of fun and perhaps learn how to use your tools a little bit differently than you thought you could use them. There's no winners, there's no losers. It could suck, it could be good, doesn't really matter. So we've done 2 already, and this week I thought what would be cool is if we used a sample. I'm going to pick a vocal sample from my collection here, and I want to try and make a bass line out of the sample, and I'm going to try a few different ways. I haven't done this myself yet, so we're just going to ad-lib, go in there and see what we can do with the vocal sample, see if we can get a bass line. Just before this video I made a very, very basic drum loop. Let's have a listen. Might speed it up a little bit to 130. Not the best drum loop, but that'll do. I'm just going to group these together so we can put that away. We'll call it drum loop. And we can tuck it away like that. So I'm going to create a new audio track. We'll call this vocal. And let's go through this vocal samples.
Cannabis 0 1.
Coughs. That sounds good. Alright, we are going to make a bass line out of a cough. So let's see what we've got here. I'm just going to drag it in, close down this panel here, drag it in and zoom in and have a look. So I've got all these great little waveforms in here. There's different ways we could do this. I thought one of the best ways would be if we create a new MIDI track and call it a sampler, and we load up a sampler and drag that in and then start mucking with it and see if we can isolate tiny little bits of it. I mean, we could go in here and just isolate one cycle of a waveform and then we could make a synthesis, because a sampler really is a synthesizer. It's just using longer snippets of waveforms and they're usually highly custom. So let's try it that way. Instruments, load in a sampler. I won't use simpler. Oh, I could use simpler. No, I'll use sampler. Sampler's got more functionality. And we can just drop this down. Oops. Go to our sampler and drag this in where it says drop sample here. So on my sampler, if I play some notes, but I can see that it's playing the whole sample all the way through. So I want to start isolating particular cycles here. So I'm going to turn the sustain mode into this guy, which means it will repeat the cycle over and over and over rather than finishing when it reaches the end of the sample. And that means we can move these loop markers up the top, so we can kind of isolate a frequency. We can zoom in. Let's look. Let's pick a really short one. I'm just going to zoom in crazily close and bring the loop markers back. Let's say something like that. And we should bring the play marker down to the loop point as well. So let's see how that sounds. Alright, down on the bass. Sounds like a synthesizer, right? Let's zoom out a bit. And we can play with the loop length here. To use my other hand. Whoops, where did we go with that? I might just use my computer keyboard while I'm doing this. I'm actually going to save that because that sounds cool, just mucking with that. The issue is we can't automate these loop endpoints, unfortunately. If we go into MIDI map mode, you'll see they're not actually assignable to a MIDI controller or automation, which is a bit of a pain. Not sure why Ableton have disabled that. There will be a reason. You can probably break something very important. So I'm going to create a new audio track and we'll call this resampled 1. And I'm going to take the audio in from resampled 1 from that sampler track. So now I'm just going to mute the original drums and the original vocal. I'm going to hit record, turn off the loop points, hit record here, and now we should be able to record that. Start off nice and high. Do one fast one. Awesome, now we have a recorded loop of that. a recorded resampling of that. Get rid of that MIDI clip, we don't need that, didn't mean to record that. So, let's have a listen to this now. I'm just going to save that for later. Let's go back to our sampler. We'll move the start point around. Where's a good point in this original sample that we could capture? Maybe that part at the end where there's a bit of a vocal sound going on. So zoom out again in our sampler. Let's go down. I think this was it here. Make sure we solve it. So because the start point is before the loop marker, it starts way back and then loops at that point. I'm going to bring that start point back across, maybe just a little bit before, bit more before, maybe just here. I'm going to sample that, that's pretty cool. So resample that, resample 2, and again take the audio from the sampler track and make sure we arm the right channel. Oops. I'm going to do that again, but raise the volume. Let's try that again. And just quickly, I'm going to change the sustain mode so it goes backwards and then forwards and then backwards. Which does absolutely nothing. But that doesn't matter. These producer challenges, it doesn't matter. So we'll say that as resample 2. I don't know if I'm going to use these, but I find I build a lot of samples and all of my samples that I use when I'm actually mucking around with parameters, and it's good to just record something if it sounds good. You might use it in a different tune. You might, 10 years time, you might come across it and be, hey, that would work well. So resample 3. What else can we do with this? Let's make the loop markers a bit bigger. Maybe not. Let's go back to this. Whoops. This guy here. Bring the volume back down. Shall we bring our play point back? So remember, the smaller you make the looping points, the higher the pitch is going to be. Weird. You guys seeing that? I think my push is bugging out. Just unplug it. Plug it back in again. I think my cable's loose. There we go. What I might do is I might record some of these up high, because then when you bring them back down low when they want samples and you use the different stretching algorithms, you can get some interesting results. So let's record that. This is not good. I think my cable's... Oh well, the push is gone for this one. Doesn't matter. As I said, anything goes. So I'm going to use my emulator keyboard on my computer here. Let's record some of those. Arm the right track and go. Make sure we take it from the sampler and go. Sounds good. And finally, I'm just going to do one more. But let's make this quite complex. Let's move this again. We'll go back over here. I know it's not really sounding like a bass line yet, but we'll get there. Okay, I'm going to group this into an instrument rack. We're going to duplicate it. Let's give it a redux straight away, because that sounds good in general. And we'll give it an auto filter with a LFO just to give it a bit of life already. Because I've got a bit of a broken beat kind of thing happening with the drums. Let's just play with that, play some notes with that. So let's write some notes in here, because that was sounding alright. I'll get some notes and then we'll play with some of the parameters. Cool, and I'm going to extend this drum loop out to 4 bars instead. Accidentally copied the vocal, copied everything, don't want that. Maybe an octave lower. And we'll play with the rate of that LFO. Make it go up and down like that. Give it its own automation lane and duplicate it across. Maybe extend this out a bit, duplicate it across again. I'll put it on beats mode and we'll use the pen tool instead so we can get exact synced beats. So another automation lane, make it a bit bigger. Whoops, make sure we have the right parameters selected. Don't need that automation lane. Review. Okay, let's go back over to our samplers. So they're both the same, I believe. Let's change let's change the root key down, which means the sample will go up. How many should we go? 1, 2, 3. We'll go 5. Let's try 7. 5 was good. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe even down more. Well, let's go back over to this LFO. And we'll give it a bit of reverb. Make it really short size and short decay. Just kind of gives it a bit of space. Get rid of the low cut. Sorry, put it on a low cut, get rid of the high cut, and turn the quality to high. And let's have the automation of the frequency opening up each one of those notes. So I'm just going to select the area and drag the line up. Just opening up a bit. Give it another automation lane so we can easily duplicate it with Command D. Let's This one isn't sounding very good. This one I've added. Oh, let's try panning them, see what it sounds like. Okay, the problem we have here is that there's no bass. There's no sub. So let's rename this instrument rack to high. I'm going to group that. So we've got a rack and a rack, and that's high. And now we can copy one of these across to here, and we can call this sub. And the high, the reason I grouped it together is so we can apply an EQ8 over everything and get rid of any frequencies that are kind of left over. So if I drag that there, it's going to affect both chains. Oh, oops. Sub high. I'm going to have to copy this sub over. I didn't copy it before. There we go. 2. So now chains 1 and 2, which are those two different samplers I use, we can put a shelf on. Now we can go back to the sub, make sure it's in the center. And let's put an EQ8 after there. Make this one a shelf, so we cut off all the high frequencies. I just want to listen to this. This is really bad EQing, but fuck it. Let's change the notes. It's interesting. And what we can do is we can take a compressor, put it after here, and let's sidechain it from the kick. Mute those guys. And let's turn these back on. Again, I don't like the pitch change. I'm just going to delete that second one for now, we don't need it. Let's find a different part of the sample, even. Interesting. I'm going to change the root note up so it goes down more. I'm just going to change these notes. Just one steady one. What if I go envelopes and pitch bend it all the way down? Bring the volume up. It's really hard pan to my right ear, so I want to see what's going on there. It's happening in the sampler. Let's just change the point again. That's kind of cool. If we go back again. Just going to turn off the filter and the redux for now. Even. kind of like that. It's like a really old school kind of tracker breaks. Let's see what we got with these resample things. Let's just copy that. Delete this clip. I'm gonna put what should we use? A gate maybe? No, we'll use a utility. We'll do this manually so we can rhythmically gate this. The reason I'm not going to change the MIDI clips and I'm going to use a gate to gate it is I don't want to start the start of the note again. So select the gain, open up the modulation lane, close this down. Automation lane, sorry. And I'm just going to use the pen tool to remove every second 16th note. To the start. And go back to this resampled we had and start adding that in somehow. We can cut these notes so it goes in time with that. That's cool. Let's add some spatial effect. I'm just going to use a ping pong delay, turn the sync off, bring it really close, bring the filter up. Maybe if I consolidate this, open it up, go into envelopes, change the transpose and have it go up. And here. Maybe have this one go down. So have this up here and go down instead. Bit of call and response type stuff. What do we got here? Copy that, get rid of that, get rid of that. We'll drag this, consolidate this, and just go ×2. I might just duplicate that across twice, and we'll have a filter opening that up. I think that would sound cool. What? Pick the cutoff, open it up. And what I'll do is I'll make that have a curve, hold down the option key, bit of a curve opening up like that. We should get rid of the sub frequencies as well, because they are, that other one is really taking it over. Give it a bit of reverb with a lot of pre-delay. Make the size smaller. Let's go back to this original sampler. What do we got over here? Put the Redux back on. That's cool. I'm going to play with the downsample rate, go into my pen tool, make the grid a bit bigger. Turn the auto filter back on. I don't know if I like it, but Nope, don't like that. Let's put a flanger in there. Because why not? Up ramp. Make it slow. Maybe half bar. No. Phaser. Phaser. Okay, let's play with that. I'm going to make the grid smaller now. Oops, and make sure we pick... what have I done there? Filter width, don't need that. Pick the frequency. Give it lots of poles. Maybe a little bit of LFO. Gonna consolidate this. I'll make it a lot lower. Maybe change it to texture mode. Not really helping. Get rid of the reverb on it. Got one more here. See if we can do anything with that. No. Okay, that's it for this week. It was good fun. Coughing sample, trying to make things out of the coughing sample. Yeah, some people might take a different approach. One thing you could do is you could find a nice sine-looking wave and throw it into a sampler and come up with some crazy FM type synth. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do with this. The coughing sample is going to be in the description. Check out the Facebook group. I'm going to post updates there. There's going to be a place that you can go and post your results if you want to get into this, which I highly recommend you do. And yeah, come and join us next week. We'll have something else fun to do. All right. Take it easy, guys.